Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. This time, Chapter 24 from Animorphs #1 Invasion by K.A. Applegate. We are coming down to the last 4 chapters, folks, so I just want to give a big thank you to everyone who's been here since the beginning. Rachel was getting larger very fast. Huge leathery ears sprouted suddenly from the side of her head. Her nose stretched and stretched till it was longer than her body had been to start with. Her arms and legs were big as tree trunks. And from her mouth grew 2 enormous curved teeth. My cousin Rachel now stood almost 13 feet high and weighed about 14,000 pounds. The weird thing was, I was happy about all this. Ha ha! I heard Rachel's triumphant laugh. I did it! The Hork-Bajir and the Taxon came closer. Rachel began twitching her little ropey tail. Her front legs pawed the dirt floor of the cavern. She raised her massive head and stuck out her 3-foot-long tusks. The Taxon was the first to notice her with his all-around jelly eyes. But I guess he didn't know how to react. Rachel charged. 1 minute she was standing there, and the next minute she was barreling forward like an out-of-control 18-wheeler. The Hork-Bajir was fast. He spun around and slashed at her trunk with his elbow blade. Too little, too late. Rachel was moving, and no little flesh wound was going to stop her. Puny little nothing, Rachel cried, outraged. You attack me? The Hork-Bajir went down, crushed under her monstrous feet. He bellowed, but Rachel's trumpeting was louder. The Taxon tried to run. It turns out Taxons can move out when they want to. It also turns out elephants are faster than you think. They can be very fast. Rachel's foot caught the Taxon's back end. The needle legs collapsed, cracking like broken twigs. Yellow goo oozed from the pop flesh of the big worm. She just kept rolling over him, leaving behind a big, extremely disgusting pile of goo. The foul smell of the squash toxin nearly knocked me out. The human was still just standing there. He said, "An elephant?" Like he couldn't even think about it being real. Rachel wrapped her trunk around his middle. Yeah, we heard Rachel say, an elephant. The man screamed. I guess he figured out it was real. Rachel threw him through the air. I never saw where he landed. Quick, I yelled at Marco. Morph. Nice work, Rachel, Marco said. Remind me not to ever make you mad. I focused on the tiger. I knew his DNA pattern was in me. I thought of him lying there in his habitat, the gardens, wishing he were back in the jungle, hunting and taking down his prey. I guessed maybe he wouldn't mind the use I was making of his DNA. This wasn't quite a jungle, but it would have to do. More Hork-Bajir coming, Rachel said. Rachel turned to face them, tusks ready. I felt the morph begin. The hair grew from my face. The tail squirted out behind me. My arms bulged and rippled. They were massive. My shirt ripped. I fell forward onto my hands. Now my front legs. The power. It was electric. It was like a slow motion explosion. I could feel the power of the tiger growing inside me. I watched claws, long, wickedly curved, tearing, ripping, shredding claws grow from my puny human hands. I could feel the teeth sprouting in my mouth. My eyes looked through the darkness like it was broad daylight. But most of all, the power, the sheer, incredible power. I was afraid of nothing. Hork-Bajir were running at me, their arm blades slashing at the air. I opened my mouth and I roared. The Hork-Bajir stopped dead in their tracks. That's right, my little Hork-Bajir friends. The human part of my brain thought, time to meet the tiger. The muscles in my back legs coiled up. I bared my teeth and gave them another roar loud enough to make the ground quiver. I leaped through their claws outstretched. Cut. So yeah, Jake morphs tiger for the first time, and it is fun. And also, I want to point out that in the fandom, it's now sort of commonly accepted that Cassie made the first kill. That will happen later in the book, soon. Anyways, this chapter actually shows that it was Rachel, because Rachel grabs the guy and throws him, and Jake never says where the controller landed. Now, that controller could easily see both Jake and Marco and later realize who they were and, track them down. So it's most likely that he died. It would make the most sense. And Jake saying, and remember, these books are written from someone's point of view. Like, later in book 3, Tobias sees a death that he just says, I know what happened, but I'm not going to tell you because that's only going to be for me. So it could be Jake saw where the controller landed in this big pile of blood and guts and just said, no, you know what? No, I'm not going to write this one down. So I'm going to say to the fandom, Rachel made the first kill. While it would be ironic if Cassie, being the pacifist and making the first kill, Rachel didn't, fits in with her the bloodthirsty side for character. And okay. And if you want to discuss anything that happened in this chapter with me, please, comment below and let's discuss stuff. Just be aware I will only accept the most minor spoilers, like when I said Tobias sees a death. I'm not saying who, died, exactly what importance the character had. So it's just like someone dies. It's Animorphs, someone's fucking going to die. It's sort of like Game of Thrones that way. Oh, someone died. So, just spoiler-free as possible. Minor spoilers, okay. Major spoilers, like who makes it out of the series alive, no. And bloopers will be posted tomorrow, as always. And now, coming to the part of the episode where I take a shot. And so, any of you who drink, take out your favorite alcohol or alcohol that's nearby, or liqueur. My choice is sake, as always. Maybe one day I'll switch it up, but not likely. Lucky. And if you don't drink for whatever reason, underage, you're a recovering alcoholic, whatever the reason you just don't like alcohol, take a shot of something else, maybe water. Water is actually very healthy for you. You should drink water more often than I think a lot of us do. So, actually I'm gonna, even though I didn't watch many of his films, recently Wes Craven passed away, and I plan to watch more of his movies in the future anyway, and his mark that he's left upon the world is, not exactly little, so here's to Wes Craven. And until next video, goodbye.